Rain, it's never just water. Sometimes, it's a memory. Sometimes, it's pain, and sometimes, it's the soft shadow of a love that never fades. The story I'm about to tell you today, it's not a fairy tale. There are no castles or crowns, just two ordinary people, caught in the extraordinary moment called love. A boy with dreams captured through the lens of his camera, and a girl whose laughter felt like the rain, wild, free, untamed. They met on a rainy day, purely by chance, but that one moment changed everything. This is a story of love that was real, yet never quite complete. A story that still lingers like the scent of wet earth after the storm. This is Shades of the Monsoon. Come with me, back to that rain-soaked day, where eyes spoke what lips could never say, and love bloomed, only to be carried away by time. Shades of the Monsoon. The first time Arav saw Mira, it was raining. Calmer, not the gentle kind, but a heavy monsoon downpour that made the streets of Mumbai shimmer like sheets of silver. Arav stood under the rusted tin shade of a tea stall, clutching his camera, trying to protect it from the water. He was there for a photo series on monsoon moods, commissioned by a travel magazine, but at that moment, his focus shifted. She appeared like a scene from a film, drenched in the rain, laughing with a group of street children near the railway station, barefoot, a plastic bag covering her head like a crown. Something about her freedom, her unbothered joy, made the city pause. Arav, almost involuntarily, raised his camera and clicked. Later, he would call that photo Freedom in the Rain. It would win awards. But the photograph wasn't the true prize, Mira was. He saw her again 2 days later, in the same neighborhood, near the community library where she volunteered. "You're the guy who was taking pictures during the rainstorm, right?" she asked, a teasing smile playing on her lips. "You noticed." "I noticed people who stare at me for 10 seconds straight," Arav chuckled, scratching the back of his neck. "You looked happy." Candid moments are gold for photographers. I wasn't happy for the camera. I was just happy. That was Mira, straightforward, warm, and quietly defiant of everything the world expected from a 26-year-old woman in a conservative society. They started meeting often, at first by coincidence, then by design. Coffee after her library shift, photo walks on the Marine Drive, discussions about books, music, dreams. She introduced him to poetry. He introduced her to the joy of capturing the world through a lens. "I've never seen someone so passionate about moments," Mira said once, watching him photograph a dog sleeping under a chai cart. "And I've never seen someone so alive in every moment," he replied. Love didn't arrive with fireworks. It came slowly, like the scent of wet earth after rain. Familiar, grounding, beautiful. But love stories rarely unfold without resistance. Mira's family, traditional and deeply rooted in expectations, didn't approve of her friendship with Arav. He was a photographer, living alone, uncertain about the future. They wanted someone settled, a government officer, an engineer, not a dreamer with a camera and a beat-up motorcycle. "I can't keep hiding our relationship," she told him one evening, sitting by the lake. "I want to be with you openly. But I also don't want to hurt my parents." Arav, ever the optimist, replied, "Then let me talk to them. Let me show them I'm serious," she smiled weakly. "They won't see seriousness in a camera." Still, they tried. Arav met her parents, polite, but visibly disapproving. He left their house that day with a strange hollow in his chest, like a door had quietly shut behind him. 4 weeks after, Mira became distant, calls were shorter, meetings rarer. She didn't say it, but Arav knew she was being pushed into an arranged marriage. One evening, as thunder rumbled over the sea, she called him. "Can we meet?" They met on the old bridge near Bandra, the place where they had shared their first kiss. The rain came down again, just like the first day. "I'm getting married in 2 months," she said, her voice barely audible over the rain. Arav stood frozen. "I fought, Arav, I really did. But they threatened to cut ties. My mother fell sick. I can't do this to them." He wanted to beg, to scream, to hold her and never let go. But he saw the torment in her eyes. She had already fought enough. So he just nodded, swallowing the storm inside him. Before she left, she said, "Please don't forget me. I couldn't, even if I tried. Years passed. I've traveled to Kashmir, Kerala, Ladakh, even Europe." His work flourished. His name appeared in art festivals, galleries, travel journals. Yet, his most famous photograph remained Freedom in the Rain. Viewers admired the mystery in the girl's eyes, the untamed joy. None knew her name, he never told. One summer, Arav held a photo exhibition in Delhi. On the last evening, as the crowd thinned, a little girl tugged at his hand. "Mama says you took a picture long ago," she said, pointing toward the entrance. Arav looked up. Time stopped. It was Mira. She looked different, more mature, a little tired around the eyes, but still glowing with the same quiet strength. Her daughter, a miniature version of her, smiled up at him. They spoke briefly, about art, about cities, about old days, not about regrets. When Mira was about to leave, she paused. "I saw Freedom in the Rain in Paris. My husband had no idea. I cried for an hour." Arav smiled. "She was unforgettable. So were you," she said, and walked away. Later that night, Arav looked at the photo again. He had seen it 1,000 times, but now he saw something new, a silent goodbye captured in a moment that once held a beginning. Love stories don't always end with forever. Sometimes they end with understanding, with a memory that makes the heart ache and smile at the same time. And sometimes a monsoon returns, not to drench you again, but just to remind you of what once made you feel alive.